everybody. Well, welcome over to the 50. So we're happy to show you around the boat today. Natalie and I are going to walk through some of the details as we mentioned, and so we're going to start back here at the rear action of the boat. I mean, because this is where everyone's going to spend most of their time on the boat, and so we thought we'd walk through this part first, and then we'll transition up to the front and take you inside to show you more details of the interior. So as we already mentioned, this boat does have Triple Mercury V12 600s. This is one of our favorite engines out there right now. I mean, everything about this engine is fantastic. From the 2-speed transmission, the fact that it is 600 horsepower, it's extremely quiet. There's a lot of technology in there. The power heads don't move. And so what that allows us to do is for a boat like this particular client, he's a big surfer, he's a big wing foiler. And so we were able to produce a fixed rail system that he can put his boards on. You've seen on other boats, we have our dinghy rack, and that one folds open and closes. But this one we did as a fully fixed system, and it worked extremely well for him. And it doesn't take away any space in the transom here. So we have loads of space in the transom so that we can set it up the way you would want to use it with a barbecue or any type of equipment you want. What you're going to see too on this boat is you'll see the winglets on the sides. And again, that speaks to the V12 and the aspect where we don't have to worry about that power head turning and hitting our rear transom or our steps. There's an undermount ladder on that side. We have our walk-through transom door. And then as you can see above us, we've got this beautiful shade system. And so this is something that we built in-house. We're using the Taco Marine carbon fiber extension poles there for the shade poles. And then we built this canvas top out of stamoid fabric, lightweight, and it gives us great coverage. Even for me, at 6'2", 6'3" headroom. Clearly, you could have someone taller underneath it, it'd be just fine. And it extends all the way up and all the way out, which is great when you're at the dock, because at the dock, you want the most coverage you can get. And sometimes the electric shade systems, while they have their own convenience factor, they don't give you as much shade as something like this will. And so that's why we went with something like this on this boat.
Yeah, and you really get the wow factor back here, just the whole experience of the back deck here. So open, you have, at least 6 people in here comfortably. And then we do have our window too, so we have that open. That opens up the whole space as well. But this is a very comfortable boat to have quite a few people on.
It speaks to the beat, really, because this boat is 14 feet. So, to date, our 41 is 12, our 35 is 11, our 33 is 10, and then you get the 50 and it's 14. And that's a big showing here. And so,
yeah.
Why don't you open up that window, show them how that works,
yeah.
And just how that adds to the atmosphere, because we all know that at the dock, it's not just about being on the back deck by ourselves, but it's about joining the conversation as the boat. And so,
yeah, it really opens up the whole space. It's a very fluid feel.
And you'll see with both doors, everything has a positive securing latch mechanism as well. And the other day we were out with the client, we were doing 60 miles an hour. Both windows and doors were open, and it didn't matter. It worked just perfectly fine. And even in the rough stuff, it's a great solution. You want to have the ergonomics right. And so what we're always dealing with as designers, because we designed the boat in-house, is how it all functions and flows together. We wanted the tables to not be too far away, but we don't want them too close. We wanted it just to be easy to move in and out. And the other aspect of it is that we wanted it to be easy to get in and out of the seat lockers here. You can see these are 2 big seat lockers. And if we take the table off, Natalie can open that storage locker up. And you'll see that we don't hit the post, number 1, but that's all open for storage. And both sides are that way. Everything that powers this boat as far as battery-wise is actually below deck here. And we'll get into that area in just a second. But as you can see, this is a spot you're going to want to get into very frequently. If the cushions are off, you have a quick access hatch below the cushion. So the cushions could come off and you could go into it that way if you need to grab something really quick. Didn't want to take the table off, for example. But this works really well. And this boat we set up with, you can see the power outlets in there. So that's for wing foiling. So he's a wing foiler and we want to charge those batteries in here so we can individually locate those batteries. The only units we really have up here is we have our BEP box, our battery management unit, and then the fuel filters. And then this boat also has shore power at 2 locations. So depending on your dock orientation, you can tie up with your shore power in the corner on the side over there, on the port side, or you can go starboard off of the main cabin. So that's a convenience solution that we like, especially on these larger boats, because you never know what your slip is going to be like when you come into it, even a guest in a moorage in another location.
Yeah, and a few other things we have back here. We have our burn wind mounts. You've seen these in some of our other videos and on our other boats. These are really great features to have. You can put all sorts of different things inside of them. Barbecues, fillet tables, rod holders, you name it. We also have a little shower here for your swim step, in case you're just hopping out of the water and want to rinse out.
And it's hot water too, right? Yeah, so this boat is hot water, which is nice. This is where we've got our freshwater connection point or washdown, and then also the engine flush. So with the V12 package, you can put a dock hose right to that and then just hit the button, engines flush out. You don't have to worry about anything.
Very nice, really easy feature. Yeah.
Speaking of what's below deck next, we'll use our tool there. And so basically what we have is our fuel tanks are forward of this space. We have dual fuel tanks, 330 gallons a piece. And the reason why we do that is primarily because you might not get the best fuel and you might want to reserve one tank. The way the boat's designed, even when one tank is low and one tank is full, it's not going to manipulate the static heel of the boat. It's actually going to sit very level. And that's partly because of the hull design and the tubes and how much stability we have in the hull. But if you did want to manipulate something, we have a custom built stainless steel 3/16 manifold system down here. But we also have all of our batteries and our battery management units down here. We're using the Master Volt system. We have two 200 amp hour Master Volt lithium batteries. And these units are charged off of the outboards themselves, and they're running air conditioning systems in this boat primarily. But all of our large DC loads, we like to run on lithium because lithium can take it and it can pull it, and it doesn't really hurt the batteries long term. And it's all a smart system, so it's all smartly managed. We're pulling DC amps at 12 volt off the alternators. They're going through a converter, it's converting them up to 24, and then it goes into the lithium batteries from there. Then from out of the lithium batteries, it goes into the 24 systems that we have, which in this case is our air conditioning as we spoke to, and then our large DC loads like our bow thruster, our windlass, and then of course the inverter runs 24. So when you pull up to the dock, you're able to plug in your 50 amp service, and because the battery chargers are also part of the Master Volt system, everything's properly managed and it's smartly designed to just flow and work. And you can run those air conditioning units 100% full load while you're out running around, and you're not even pulling off the lithium because the engine amps are enough to produce current to charge the both lithium and run the air conditioners. They're a low draw of 24 volts. That's how we choose to use it. And we use this new fabric. This is from Luxor. This was a request of the client to use. We actually really like it. There is an upcharge for us to use it versus our standard solution, but it has that ultra leather feel for those that know what ultra leather is, but it's actually extremely durable. I was really impressed to see the durability test on it compared to the other fabric. One thing we didn't hit on yet, but we've got on all these big boats is the rear deck joystick system, which you almost have to have, especially because we still like to single-handedly maneuver these boats, even at this size. So this is our second boat to do this, and I think this is the second boat on the West Coast to ever use the integrated bow thruster joystick system with Mercury V12. So the Sepner bow thruster has its own gateway communication to the Mercury system. So when we use the joystick, it's using the bow thruster to really help balance the boat. And what's so neat about it is that when you let go of that joystick, the bow thruster, it will keep the bow from continuing to swing. Traditionally, when you use your bow thruster or use a joystick, your boat's going to continue to move because you put that moment arm into it, so it's continuing to swing. Well, the bow thruster sees the bow continuing to move, and it automatically kicks the opposite direction slightly just to stop the bow. So you can really fine point park this boat even by yourself. Really like that solution. So anyway, well, why don't we transition up to the bow? Why don't we go up to the bow, show them the bow real quick, and then we'll hop into the main cabin. So as you can see, one of the things about this 14-foot wide boat that's unique to us is these large gunnels. And so the cabin on this boat is a little bit narrower. It's more traditionally about the same beam as our 41-foot full cabin. And that gives us all this gunnel deck space to walk up to the bow and makes it quite easy to use because this boat doesn't have a walk-through down the center master. We have a true private master, so this is how we transition up to the bow. And on this boat, it was really unique to have so much cockpit space up there. But we wanted to have another space on the boat. It's 50 feet long. A lot of people like to entertain in the sunshine and the outdoors. And with family on board, especially because you can have so many people, everyone can kind of have their own space. So there can be an entertainment space back here, and then maybe the kids go up to the front. They're jumping off the front, having a good time playing in the water. So the gunnels are a big part of this boat's design. Also, what you're going to see as you look up to the front here is you're going to see the double fuel fill. And so because we have 2 tanks and we've got 2 fuel fills, it actually, was a part of the design to make it easier, because it's a big boat and we do have good economy for its size. It's a 35,000 pound boat, and we're getting approximately 0.65 miles per gallon at this vessel's configuration with this weight. And that could vary based on your configuration and your weight from the equipment you pick. But by able to fill both tanks at the same time, it reduces the amount of time you're at the fuel dock, because we all know getting fuel in your boat is part of the boating experience, and we want to eliminate as much time at the dock as we can. And that's through good economy and then faster filling times.
You can see you've just got a lot of walking space here. Some things you'll notice as we're coming forward, we've got the Raptor deck. This is a very common add on top of a cuddy here. This makes it just a little more comfortable. You can sit up here, enjoy the sun, or just hang out in the marina. This is a great feature. We definitely recommend it. We also have it up on top. This client wanted to be able to jump off the roof and experience that part of the boat and have it be nice and safe up here for him and the family. We also have our 2 windows that go into our main sleeper. We've got our classic life-proof drop-out door here. You've seen us demo these and pull up to beaches. This is a great feature. People love it. This is our ultramarine and anchor here. And then we have the swivel shackle. This is a really essential feature. It allows the anchor to come up perfect every time. You don't have to worry about it getting caught or stuck. Comes right up the chute, just like that. And then we have our drum windlass here under the deck. Super easy access. Drum windlass there for when you're doing any sort of anchoring.
The space up here is really just designed for another private entertaining spot. The bow is self-bailing, that's important. So is the stern of the boat. And then like we shared, you've kind of got your own storage up here, your own space. And then of course we still have our integrated flip down bow door. So even though it's 50 feet, we still love this feature. And it's actually something the client loved as well. Maybe we're not beaching the boat as often for this size, but it's something where kids can jump off the front or hang out on the boat up here, swimming around, and it's an easy way to get back in the boat. So just because it's 50 feet doesn't mean it shouldn't get one. Hey everybody, so we're here inside the cabin now. We're taking a look through it, and what you're going to notice right away is it's similar to our 41-foot full cabin. So where we have our settee over here on the port side, and we have our large galley on the starboard side. It's a wonderful configuration. It works extremely well for pretty much all types of boating that you're going to do. Great feedback from the clients that have these setups already. And then this table converts down to make a sleeper. And so the headboard that's used on the bonus bunk comes up, fills this in, makes one big bed. So on this boat, we do have 3 separate sleeping quarters on board, which is really nice if you've got kids and another family joining you. What you're going to see right away as you start looking around this cabin, it's a lot of light. We're after a lot of light. We want the boat to feel big, airy, and spacious. We went with white headliners in this boat. We did the charcoal carpeting. Oftentimes we go with black, but it's up to you when you order your boat. We've got the red and white overhead lights. We've got plenty of lighting throughout. We've added strip lighting as well. And you don't really see it so much in the daytime because it's so bright, but if I turn it on and off, you'll see that there flash. And so we have that nice accent track lighting, which is great because you can turn the overhead lights off, leave that on, and just add a little bit of ambient light throughout the cabin. That's the one thing the client gave us feedback on after his first couple of days of use. He goes, the lighting is perfect, we nailed it. And that's because of all the courtesy lights, the underwater lights, the overhead lights, the dome lights, the strip lights, and we even have strip lighting down in the master that you'll get to see when we get down there as well. It's all about reducing any glare. You'll notice every light we use is frosted. We do that for a reason. We don't want to hurt the eyes and we don't want too much intensity. And all of these are dimming as well, which is nice too. So both red and white are dimming.
Yeah, and clients are big fans of the courtesy lights. We have inside and out, and we've got them in multiple colors too.
It's great. And on the white, it just pops, right? I mean, A lot of good feedback.
For low light evening stuff, it's a great ambiance.
It's awesome. One of the things you're going to notice is you start pulling cushions and you start looking at things. We have a lot of storage, kind of like on the rear deck. We have a lot of storage in the rear deck. Great place to put things, right? So we set this up the same way. The backrest can tip back. You've got pockets behind them there, all the way around. There's actually storage below these as well. If you flip these cushions up, you'll find some cubbies to store more equipment in them, or cushions or shades or whatever you want to do with that space. And then you're going to see a lot of cabinetry. And, you know, again, with cabinetry, we'd really like the acrylic. We don't go too much with the laminated wood. We go with acrylic. It's heavy duty. It's very strong. It matches the aluminum as far as strength and durability over time. And it's easy to polish if there is a scratch on there. You don't have to worry about trying to match a laminated wood panel if there's a tear or scratch or someone marks it up. So what you're going to notice right away is just how we laid out the storage, you know, and double trash can, 2 pull-out drawers down below. And then on the other side, it's kind of similar, where we have a lot of storage for various pieces of equipment, food from the weekend with the client's use, and then microwave, and we like to use the convection oven microwave for our boats. I believe this unit's going to be discontinued soon, so we'll find an alternative, but that's the idea, is that we want to give them lots of options. Because we had these 90-degree days out here, we ended up adding an ice maker to the countertop for the client as well, so he could produce ice in 6 minutes if he wanted and stay cool. A big sink, we've got a filler panel for that, outlets all the way around, UV water. We always do this on these bigger boats, so it's a filtered water system for drinking. Again, we added a coffee maker for this trip for him. That seems to be the way to go. Everybody wants to make coffee in the morning. Having a little Nespresso is really nice to have it on board. You can stow it, get it off the countertop when you don't want it. And then everyone always asks about cooking. How are you going to cook in this boat? And again, we always like the idea of having something portable and removable. So an induction cooktop is really the best way to go, because you can pull it out of the cabinet, put it on the counter, use it, and then take it off. And if you want to change it, maybe you want 2 burner, single burner, whatever you want. They're not very expensive, and it's easy to mix and match. When you go with built-in cooking, you're stuck with it till you go to replace the galley. And countertops aren't cheap. It costs a lot of money, and so we just don't like to do the built-ins as much. Plus, as soon as you built into it, you take away from something. So in this case, our drawer units, you'd lose the drawer units, or you'd lose the microwave. So like the sink here, right? The sink goes down, so the storage, you've got storage, but you lose the full use of the storage. And that's just something that is a trade-off that we try and educate clients about. And so then, you know, what you're going to see over here is we've got our coffee maker on the countertop, drawer units below the countertop, and then the refrigerator, and then a freezer. So you can go fridge, you can go freezer, or you can do fridge and freezer, which is what we have on this boat. You know, speaking to, again, the cooking, because that will come back as another question. I want to emphasize again, you know, with the induction cooktop, we're running off of a 3,000 watt inverter. So we have plenty of power. And the best part is, with that lithium battery bank, we don't even touch the house power. We're pulling off a lithium bank, which is auxiliary power to the boat. And when it's on shore power, it doesn't even feel it. But you can use the induction cooktop all day long, and it won't be an issue. It doesn't drain your house batteries at all. And honestly, a lot of clients, what they're doing is they're cooking with a barbecue on the back deck. And that's why you've seen on other boats, we've got barbecue systems and burn-a-wins for barbecue systems. So a lot of clients are going to cook that way, or they're going to order out. They're going to go explore, go to a new marina, go to a new restaurant. That's a part of the boating experience on the water. And so we just feel that taking up the countertop space with the cooktop permanently is not the right solution for most of our clients. So what you're going to find right away is that when we get to this size boat, we have the ability to have 3 captain chairs up here. So 2 for the navigation side, 1 for the main driver. That's always a special request. It seems to be there's always 2 people that want to sit up here at the same time. And so when you get to this size boat, you can certainly accommodate that. And we want to give them their own screen. So we've got 3 16-inch displays on this boat. We've had requests to go to 22s. We certainly can. When we get to 22, all it means is that we have to have a little bit of rake to our dash top here, which we certainly can accommodate for the client. And then we have a glove box with charging ports, USB-Cs. That seems to be the new request is, hey, can you go USB-Cs on your charging ports and not just do a USB traditional anymore? So we certainly have that now, and they make a really great waterproof one. ScanStrut has one, so we'll do that for clients. This does have a FLIR M364C, so we have IR and visibility payload. We can do a dual payload. We can combine them to do an IR blend. We have AIS target tracking on this boat. I can go through and look at a list of targets that are on the AIS list. We can pick one. The camera will pan right to it and track it as we go by. So that's really great with the new software on these. And it's all networked, right? So we're using a Cat6 cable to network everything together. So it communicates extremely well, it communicates fast. Even our stereo unit, this is on Cat6, the Apollo unit, because they're owned by Garmin, Fusion is. And so that gives you the new Apple AirPlay extra enhancements when you go with the Cat6 cable on there. So you get the album artwork. And so we've had clients ask about that too. One thing we haven't touched on yet is our sunroof. So we've got a lot of glass up here too. All of our boats that have sunroof features, they also have shades that we provide, which is really nice. You're gonna need it. When you're doing 60 in this boat and that is open, it doesn't feel like it's open. And you know, the other thing that we notice with the client is there is no circulation, you know, where it sucks the air back into the cabin. It's not like a car. You're not getting that pressurized feeling. It's pretty amazing. It's really seamless, and all it's doing is just letting a little more fresh air in, and really think that worked out extremely well on this boat. Again, the dual 16s, everyone always asks, how do you know where your motors are? Because you don't have the power heads that move. So on the Garmin's, you can turn up a rudder indicator, and so that's telling you where the lower units are through the NEMA 2000 backbone. We've got a Mercury display as well, and we're going to put the Mercury information up here through the Mercury Gateway Connect system. These are the new wire marine switches. We have an auto anchor. We have our searchlight controller. We've got the zip wake system on here, the 400s. And you know what's funny? We haven't even used them yet because we haven't needed them. Even with 12 people on board this boat doing sea trials, you didn't need it. It was perfectly balanced. I was actually blown away, and we don't even have bow rise. So I don't lose sight over the bow when we come up. The hull is really refined. It's a really refined entry point, and it comes up very linear. I think that's really speaks for the whole design. It's a 22-degree dead rise with a transom, but we're really refined at the entry point. You know, great stereo system. We've got 8.8-inch speakers in here. We got a 10-inch subwoofer in here. DSP amplifier, so we're digitally programming it with our laptop to really set it up to shine and perform well. We're running our DC main panel and AC panels down here on the side. You'll see that's all DC custom now, our labels for our BEP battery management system. If I flip up the chair and we go to the other side, you'll see it's all the AC systems. Shore 2, Shore 1, you can pick and choose. You got your M2 gauge to tell you how much voltage you have coming on each. Right now we're not plugged in at all, but you can see how we set it up with the 50 amp service. And then speaking to the helm layout, it's similar to all the other boats that you've seen us produce, and I'm sure you watched another video from us, but the chair, these are suspension seats, military grade suspension seats. We've reupholstered them in that Luxor fabric that's really nice. It's like ultra leather, but it's still the military grade bones of the seat. And we like the ability to flip the seat down and stand and operate the boat. It's really easy, it's really comfortable. My throttles are built into the armrest of the seat. So the throttles are part of the seat. They move with the seat in suspension. We have 8 inches of suspension travel on this chair. So these are moving with you when you're in the rough water. And then when it does get nasty, you know, you just flip up your seat, put your footrest down, hop in it, and you're good to go. Now I've got this seat all the way up. The other thing that we like about this seat is that we've got 6 inches of height adjustment to it. So, you know, for a guy like me, I don't need to necessarily be this high. I can lower the seat to where I want. I can lower my footrest or raise my footrest to find the right position. It's really ergonomic. When we're docking the boat, I can flip that out of the way. I can open up my window and I can actually touch my cleat, believe it or not. or I could tie up to my rail, whatever's convenient for that moment when I'm coming up to the dock. Got my joystick right here, got my bow thruster if I wanted to operate it independently. Because we're built into the joystick system and we're integrated into the Mercury 600s for the joystick, let's say you didn't want to use it, you push this button once and it goes just to engine joystick mode. You push it again, now you're back to the integrated mode. So it gives you the option to pick and choose how you want to operate that. You probably saw here on the dash, we've got the Vesper VHF/AIS Class B transmitter. It's modern, it looks great. You can come into here, you can put it on plotter mode, and you can look at all the AIS targets around you. You can pick and choose if you want to hail them directly. I think it's fantastic. It's definitely an improvement over just your traditional units. We can come in here and come to instruments as well. We can add NEMA 2000 data. We can change that data cells to pick and choose what we want to talk about or look at. So that's pretty neat. All right, why don't we turn around and let's look at this wall over here. So over here, what you're going to see is these are the controls for both the air conditioning units in the boat. Again, they're 24 volt. And so we'll just turn the system on, set the fan, set the temp, and that's all we've got to do. It's great, it's done. You can hear the fan slowly building up, and that's it. When you're done, you just turn it off. Up here, we've got our Combi Master, our Charge Master Plus. This is the Master Volt system, so we can come in here and we can control everything. At the moment, we're not plugged into shore power, so some of the options will say they're not available because they're actually not. There's no shore power onto the boat. But right now, I've got these set up. You could configure them to whatever you want to see. Here we're looking at the 24 volt battery number 1. We see that the battery is in a closed state, which means that it's on. We're able to use it. We're drawing 1.2 amps off it right now. Battery rate is at 46%. Same with battery number 2. And then that one's offline. Here's our inverter. We can turn on and off the inverter. Currently it's inverting. We're really not pulling any power. It would tell us how many watts we're actually using on it though. Again, part of the shore power system, but really easy to configure it, set up for the client, put on the data that you want to see and how you're going to use the boat. And again, it's smart. So we're telling it how to use itself. And we really choose the system at the heart of it all because of the safety, because we're all about safety. And we want a system that's integrated so that it knows what's going on at different parts of the boat and what the equipment's telling other equipment to do. If the batteries got too hot, we want the batteries to turn off the chargers or turn off the DC to DC converters. That's a safety aspect that we really like to have on board.
Welcome to the salon. We've converted it. So this is what you would do, right, for a weekend or even just lounging for the day, right? But what we did is we dropped our table down. It locks in just like that. It's got a little ledge to sit on. And this just makes a really sturdy sleeper to use day, night, whenever you like. And then this cushion right here, this pulls out and it's access to our sleeper cabin.
Oh, hey everybody. Yeah, so this is a Twin XL down here. So it's actually quite sizable. I've got a lot of room. I've got heat, I got air conditioning, I have a fan if I just want to move some air around. I got reading lights, I got bunk lights, they all dim. It's just a great place to hang out, get away from the rest of the boat, and for another couple to stay the night on board, it gives them a lot of space. It's not just that you have to sleep up there, so we have truly 3 separate sleeping areas on this boat.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and we can talk about it as you're walking up there. But so much storage. The client, that was a huge remark he had after trying this boat out for a weekend. He was really impressed by all of the storage we have here, and we have even a hanging closet that's pretty special. We don't do that on many boats. And then we also have some great natural light here. We've got those 2 opening windows above you, and those come with blackout curtains, because of course you would definitely get woken up by the sky in a room like this. The neat thing about this size is that we can do a full shower like this, a separate shower, right? So a lot of our boats, we do a wet head or a bathroom that also converts into a shower. This is just a shower, which is great. Lots of clients are always looking for that addition. We also do, an outdoor shower. So this is just the inside one for a boat of this size.